Pivot tables are a handy way to summarize or analyze lists of data. In this example, let's say you have a list of students, and we know that some of them went to tutoring and some of them didn't. We know their grades and which course they took. Now we can do several things with this data. We could take a look at who went to tutoring and what grades they made to see if tutoring made a difference. Of course, very unscientific here. We could see how people are doing in certain classes. Are folks doing better in English than they are in math in general, or are they doing better in English and math if they went to tutoring? If we just want to count the number of A's versus B's versus C's, we could do that. If we only wanted to count just the yeses and nos in tutoring, we could do that as well. To make a pivot table, we go to the Insert tab at our menu at the top. Oh, before we do that, first we click in cell A1, the first one in the top left corner. Then we go to Insert. And we have two choices here. The recommended pivot table will basically build some already made pivot tables for you. Let's take a look. As you can see, it already summarized the yes and no's for us for the tutoring. So it quickly looked at the list, and we can see that we had 24 people who did not attend tutoring and 17 who did. And here is a count of the grades. We could do this manually, of course, but like I said, these are already made for us. We could see that there were 13 D's made and 6 A's. And we could also see how many people took which course. I'm going to hit counts. We're not going to use those. We're going to do a manual pivot table. I'm going to click Pivot Table. And then it's going to ask me which data do I want analyzed. And it highlights the entire list, and that's what I want. I could change that by highlighting the list where I want the data to be analyzed, but I want all of it analyzed. So I'm going to click OK. And it defaults to new worksheet. So the new data that it's going to pull for me is going to create a brand new worksheet. I could also create a brand new workbook, or I could put it in the existing worksheet. I'm going to click OK. And now I have this new worksheet here. Notice it's sheet 3. I can rename it if I want. And my pivot table is ready to add data. So let's say I want to count grades. So that's going to go into the values field. So I left click and grab grades and put it down here in values. And the grade is word, so I can only count. If I had put the grades as numbers, like a student made it 88.3 or 100, then I could do things like minimum grade, maximum grade. I could do averages and things like that because it's a number. But all I can do is count because I'm counting letters. Notice it already counted all the grades for me, a total of 41 grades because it's 41 students. But I also want to see what the grades are, so I'm also going to grab grade and put it down here in the rows. I can look at it in rows or columns. So here it is in the rows. So now there's 6 A's, 6 B's, 6 C's, and so on. But let's say I also want to look at tutoring. I could put that in a column. So I'm going to grab tutoring. I'm left clicking and I'm dragging down the columns. And so now I have a yes column and a no column, and I have grade rows. So I could see that there were, and this is right justified, so it's a little hard to read. Let's go ahead and see if I can put some borders around this. It'll be easier to read. I'm highlighting. I'm going to home, and I'm going to click the borders here. This isn't necessary for the mathematical equation. It just makes it a little easier to read. And click borders. So now it has borders around it. I can just see it a little bit better. So now if I'm looking at the pivot table, I can see that of the students who did not go to tutoring, 6 of them made B's. And that's a total of 6 students. For the students who did go to tutoring, 5 of them made E's. And a total of 5. So I really don't have some yes and no's here. I only had like a small amount of data. If I wanted to break it down some more, if I wanted to use I can use a filter instead of using a column. I'm going to go back over here, grab tutoring, and put it in a filter. And notice there's a filtering at the top now. So now I just see the count of the grades. And if I want to filter out the yeses, I can just click yes and OK. And so these are all the grades of the students who went to tutoring and what they made. Or I can go back up to the filter, click, choose no and okay. And now I can see the count of the grades to the students who did not attend tutoring. So as you can see, your possibilities are pretty much limitless with your pivot table.